let me say a little something about gifts, and because the tensions that come with Christmas. One of the tensions is people go in debt,
Right.
and then that tension
That's right.
it goes down the road for a long, long way. One of the things, probably the best thing I've ever done at Christmas, was actually in the month before my mother died. I didn't know she was going to die. We went home our thing is in December. We always go to Louisiana to visit our family, and that particular Christmas, I just had it in my heart to write a tribute to my mother about what she meant to me. It was very realistic. It wasn't just glamour type stuff, but just a realistic little tribute. And then I framed it, and I gave that to her as a Christmas present. It cost me very little to nothing. It was mostly my time, my thoughts, what was in my heart, and I gave that to her, and that meant so much to her. What I didn't know was that in less than a month from that time that I gave her that she would be diagnosed with cancer, and 21 days later she'd be dead.
Goodness.
So, there are some things that you can do at Christmas that are meaningful, that are not, just, okay, I'm going to get out and get the best. And I think some of the best gifts are those that have some kind of thought.
Our Christmas
behind
tree.
them.
Tell just some of the thoughts.
I just concur so much with you, because one of the things we try to do with the gifts that we give our children is in the card that goes on the particular gift, highlight something that was significant from their life that last year, so that we're being able to affirm them, because it is true that the gift is so much more than something materialistic. It's a time to be able to affirm that life.
The way we do that, we don't put their names on the gifts. It's a descriptive event, or to the one who, sang backup, or to the one who got a good score in his ACT, which is
his.
That's a
I usually
His faith statement. And I think that's what she's talking about. That there's no names.
And then as far as gifts too, that's a place that I've found to put Jesus first in my holidays, is to take that list of what gifts and pray and say, Jesus, you lead me to these things. And I mean, I have amazing stories of things like a Little Miss Makeup when they were sold out of those all over town, and that was the only thing one of my children wanted, and literally the Lord leading me to a store, and at the top shelf there's one left, so to be able to say to her, you're significant to the Lord, and he had a part in this. David mentioned the Christmas tree, and our Christmas tree is like a family museum. We debated whether or not to have a tree because of the secularness of that, but it's a place where we have pictures of them when they were little. Their baby shoes are on the Christmas tree, and it's just
ornaments that they made, that they decorate when they were a couple of years old, and it's she takes care of those like a curator of a museum. They're carefully repackaged and then reopened. But the kids, as they're getting older now, they can look back and see something, their little handprint stuck on a paper plate,
That's good.
And then she's gotten it woven into the tree. It's kind of a family museum piece, but it also just evokes a lot of memories of gratitude for their lives.
Now, we're talking here, and God has blessed us. I mean, we both have families who love the Lord, and everybody in our family and your family too, I'm sure, has their little flaws and things, but basically love the Lord and are trying to live for the Lord and do the will of God, for their lives. But that's not the case with everyone.
Yeah.
And a lot of times families really struggle. They come together, there's tensions. You might have a family that, boy, Jesus is the center, and they're coming together for that period of time with another family that Jesus is not the center, and maybe so how do you handle those tensions that arise? Then you've got others that are by themselves, that are going through some real loneliness because they had some wonderful times in the past and now they're by themselves. So, Pastor, what do you do with that? How do you help people?
As you were saying that, I was thinking, that there was a before Jesus and an after Jesus in your life,
right?
And I think that's what folks who are listening would really. How did what was the internal shift within you? But how were you able to to focus on the creation of new memories to overshadow the power of the old memories in family settings. I think Shirley has had some of that kind of background as well, of just of the Lord's ability. So I'll bounce past that back to you two.
Well,
how did that get
for
accomplished?
me, God just did it. He changed my life, and I understood what Christmas was about. I mean, we'd say it, oh, it's about Jesus, type thing, but never really understood it in my heart. So I had a passion to really make Jesus the center of Christmas, allow Him to be the center of my life, and let that be a renewing time, not just a one-time thing, but a renewing time of my love for Christ that would carry me on into the new year. And whenever I did that, that changed a lot of things. It changed the parties I went to. It changed what I did and where I went. It changed, it just changed the whole focus. And as I began to that passion grew in me, I think that, we talk about traditions. I didn't have that tradition. The traditions were developed not because I sat down and said, okay, I'm going to develop these traditions, but because, man, I just love Jesus and I wanted Him to be first. For instance, our reading of the Christmas story every year, that came out of just a love for Jesus, not realizing that He's the center. And we said, hey, He's the center. Let's read about this year. And so it came out of that. Would you say that's kind of how it's developed with us, or?
Yeah.
I agree with you, though. There's ones that are going to have a Christmas this year that lost a loved one, or they sometimes I think divorce is even more painful than death because it's ongoing. Maybe the children are at one house. You're not as a mother, this is your first Christmas that your children, you're going to wake up and they're going to be with their father. And those are difficult things. And the only point, I just know that the scripture says that Jesus is near the brokenhearted, and that in those lonely places that He allows in our lives, out of His grace and goodness, He looks at the circumstances He allows us to walk through, and they're measured by Him, that He has grace to meet at that point of need in your life. That you may be looking at a holiday and thinking, I don't know how I can do this. Well, you can't in your own strength, but you have an opportunity to know the glory of God in ways that some of us that maybe get busy and caught up with our families and stuff at this point will not know. And I want to encourage those that are watching or listening today that are looking at Christmas with dread, as though they'll have to face that by themselves. You won't face it by yourself. Jesus promises that He is near the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. And our prayer for you today is that there will be faith to rise in your heart to believe that you won't be facing this season by yourself. But as you look to Him and you say, Lord, I'm lonely or I'm hurt at this point, that He can meet you in that place.